Having a stressful job can take a toll on your heart health, even more so, according to some studies, if you're a man. And that's a study we're talking about this morning. It was published on Tuesday in a peer-reviewed journal of the American Heart Association. Research found job-related stress combined with getting little reward at work nearly doubled the risk of heart disease in men. Joining us now is Dr. Sue Varma. She's a board-certified psychiatrist and a clinical assistant professor at NYU. Dr. Varma, great to see you again. So let's talk about the role of stress and the strain that it puts on folks who have a high-pressure career and what that can mean to a person's heart.
Absolutely. We're finding that high stress and demand, meaning an increased workload, tight deadlines, a lot of responsibility, combined with not feeling like you have a lot of control over what you're doing and not feeling like you're getting rewarded in the form of compensation, accolades, having some sort of ownership over the work that you do, having a title, having some acknowledgement. So this dangerous combination of high expectations and very low reward, this is what is leading to almost a 50% increase in stress in men. And it was very interesting because the study had 6,500 participants. It was looking at white-collar workers. This is out of Canada, and it's finding that they followed people for 18 years. So Vlad, that is a great study in my mind when you have high-end or high-power, a lot of participants, and it's sort of a prospective study, that your longitudinal study, you're following them for a long period of time, and they didn't have heart disease at baseline. So this is very telling about the impact of stress on a person's heart. Now, whether we can generalize this to other countries, probably, I would say, you could probably say that this is similar in our country as well. Can it be generalized to women? That we don't know yet.
So it sort of suggests with this, sort of acknowledgement of your hard work, that part of this is about perspective. If there's an expectation that you should be paid more or that your boss should tell you how appreciative he or she is, then you will be disappointed, and that will increase your stress level. Could just your perspective have a huge impact on how much stress you're experiencing?
Yes, totally. And, I have a lot of patients that I work with that come into me specifically in situations like this. They come in a crisis and they say, I just made the company, millions, billions, and no one is appreciating it. And they're not necessarily, people are not necessarily asking for more money, even though that helps to have, that's one form of approval. But I've even seen when people get raises, they may get titles, they don't feel like they're valued in the company. So perspective of my work matters, my work has impact, and that I have some autonomy over decision making. I have some agency. The boss can say, hey, these are our goals, and how you want to reach that, I'm flexible. Or let me hear your goals and let me work with you together on it. So perspective is huge, and part of the perspective is like, what is within my control? Who am I dealing with? Is it a reasonable boss? Do I have a reasonable team? And then how do I get people on my side? We do find that one of the hugest protective factors in work stress is having a best friend at work. People who have good friends at work live longer, less mortality, less cardiac events, less sick days, less injury on the job. So this is sort of an underutilized real buffer and benefit. But perspective is huge, and being able to shift your perspective of like, I am valued. What is the proof of that? And I ask people that. In cognitive behavioral therapy, few sessions can be really helpful to feel like you have support, to be able to help you advocate and ask for the raise, to ask for the accolades, to say, hey, I'm confused. There's a mismatch here. There's a disconnect. Help me. I'm working really hard. How come I'm not feeling the reward? Is it me? Is it you? Is it the company? What's going on here?
That's interesting.
Well, got that covered because I get to work with my friend every single day here at CBS News. But the other question that we were talking about earlier in the commercial break is sleep. I mean, we have schedules that have us getting up very early in the morning. Anne-Marie even gets up earlier than I do. And we have noticed that that can either lead to health issues in the immediate or down the line. And we're not even talking about people, for example, who are in sanitation or who are truck drivers who drive all through the night to get to a location to deliver their goods, the goods that we need. What is the quality of sleep, and how does that impact our heart and even just our overall general health?
Yes. So great question, Vlad, because it's two things. It's the quantity, right? So having at least 6 hours is ideal. If you can get 7, you can get 8, that's wonderful. But it's also, in addition to the quantity, its quality is how deep and how restful it is. And when you're feeling resentful during the day, when the tape keeps playing in your mind, when you're ruminating over and over again about all the things that happen in the day, it's very hard to get quality sleep. And we see that this is linked to obesity, heart disease, stroke. So quality of sleep is important, and also like getting that sleep, that shut eye during the nighttime, because we know that a circadian rhythm is disrupted when we are exposed to artificial light indoors during the night or any kind of light. There's increased incidence of cancer in shift workers, we're finding. So circadian rhythm and being able to have a rise in the melatonin, which is the hormone that rises when we're in the dark, is really key. And getting daytime sunlight is really important to help activate, the sort of I'm awake now, and to shut off the melatonin. So if you can get 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight in the morning, even if you start your day while it's still dark, once the sun is out, to get outside even in the middle of your day. Definitely having clear boundaries in the workplace, flexible boundaries, right? I call them hedges, not walls, so that we can work around them and say, hey, what do you expect of me? And then reaching out to colleagues and have frequent check-ins with the boss to say, hey, even before, in advance of the review, if I'm going to be, if I'm being, having a review, what can I do to say, how can I meet those parameters in advance, so that when we sit down for my annual or mid-year, I'm not blindsided. And that reward is so important. So, and I joke, we call them love languages, but at work, you do have love languages, right? How do I want to be appreciated? Do I want to get raised? Do I want a title? Do I want more agency? Do I want more vacation? So the more you have self-awareness about what your needs are, and then you can communicate them in the workplace, and knowing your attachment style, right? Do I like to avoid people? Do I get very anxious when someone doesn't respond to my email? So knowing how you communicate what you need is really key in preventing the heart disease and preventing the mortality risks. And, they don't talk about women having heart disease, but I bet you if they were studied, it would be some sort of a fallout. The one difference I would say is that women tend to, totally stereotypical, be slightly more community oriented. So they might be more likely to have that buffer, have that protective, because in times of stress, women will tend to befriend and look for that support. So I think that's really key, and to have mentorship, to be able to talk to colleagues, even if you don't have that support in the workplace, to go outside and say, this is a colleague from my former job, I want to have dinner with you. So stay in touch, make sure you feel supported, because that's where perception counts. When you had asked that question, do you feel supported? You may be supported, but if you don't feel it, that's a problem.
Dr. Varma, you've given us such good information. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.